What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome to a special model review. It's your host, Ray. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the Gemini Jet's 1-400 scale Delta Airlines Airbus A330-900NEO wearing the Team USA special livery. This model review is a special model review because this model is exclusively for sale on the Delta Team USA merchandise store at quite an unbeatable price for a 1-400 scale model too, so that was a very nice touch. In today's video, I'll talk about the box, then the model itself, and at the end of the video, I'll give my personal opinion about what I think of the model and whether or not I recommend it to other collectors. With that being said, let's get this review started. Starting off with the box in terms of size is the standard issue Gemini Jet's 1-400 scale narrow-body box. However, the box art is not the standard Gemini Jet's box art, probably because this model is being made on request by a company, and Gemini Jets usually changes up the box arts in such situations, so this is a nice touch. I'll show you around the box now. So here's the front, bottom, right side, top, left side, and here's the back side. Take a moment to read this if you'd like to. I just realized I forgot to tell you the dimensions of the box, and that's 15 centimeters lengthwise and height-wise, and 5 centimeters wide. Apologies for that. This box features a flap at the front of the box that allows you to see the model in the box, and under this flap is a bit of information about the aircraft and the Airbus A330-900. So take a moment to read this if you'd like to. Once you open up the box, you get the model fully painted and assembled and ready to go. I'll give you a quick 360 of the model so you can get a good look around it. The model is 16 centimeters long, the wingspan is also 16 centimeters, and it's about 4 centimeters tall. Accurate to 1-400 scale and fairly large for a 1-400 scale airplane. The model is also quite heavy because it is made primarily out of die-cast metal. Starting up at the front of the aircraft, here we can see the nose section of the plane. Nose shape looks pretty good. It might be a little bit off, I'm not really sure, but something just might have to do with the raccoon mask on the cockpit windows because I'm not really used to seeing this. But nose shape looks pretty good, but there might be something off about it. I'm not really sure. I just can't shake the feeling that there's something with it. Moving down the fuselage, there's plenty of printed detail, all of which looks pretty good. Here you can see the Delta title, the American flag with the Olympic rings right there, and a very small official airline text here, which is quite nice to see. Moving down the fuselage, we can start seeing the Team USA logo. Looks pretty good. Color gradient looks nice. It fades nicely to the top of the fuselage. And no complaints so far. Everything looks pretty good. Shapes look good. Application of paint looks good. And printed details look good. Here's the vertical stabilizer. Vertical stabilizer looks pretty solid with the giant Delta title and the blue surrounding it. Yeah, no complaints up here. There's molded detail for the rudder, and paint application looks pretty good, so no complaints. I will now show you the right side of the fuselage. It's virtually the same as the left side, so I won't provide much commentary, but everything I can say about the left side of the fuselage, I can also say about the right side of the fuselage. As I said earlier, I kind of felt suspicious about the nose shape, but if you know the nose shape is right, then just ignore that. I might be just acting silly again. Moving on to the wings look very nicely detailed. This is certainly an improvement from Gemini. It looks pretty nice. There's painted, molded, and printed detail. You can see the painted detail in the forward slats. There's also a very slight difference in the color of gray here at the top of the wing. You can see the difference between here, the dark gray color, and the lighter gray color. And the molding of the control surface details looks really nice. No complaints up here so far. It looks pretty good. The wingtips look nice. I'm pretty sure these are mostly accurate. Here's what they look like from the top. No paint chipping, no issues with these, so very nice to see so far. Bottom of the wings have painted and molded detail, however there's not really that much down here. Won't complain though, there's not very much to look at down here either. Wings look solid so far. Moving to the rear of the aircraft, here we can see the horizontal stabilizers and the APU. Horizontal stabilizers look good, there's no printed detail on the top or bottom, but regardless, they still look good anyway. Here's the bottom. And the APU looks pretty good, no complaints there. It appears as though there's a little bit of a dent here, or a little bit of a not a hole, but a little bit of an area to represent the APU exhaust, which looks pretty nice. It's a nice touch. Moving on to the engines on this model look pretty good. Here you can see the exhausts. The exhaust nozzles look very nice in different colors of metallic gray. Engine pylons look good. The details of the cowling looks good. But the thing that really gets me with the engines, look at that, fan blade details and a spinner spiral. This is completely unheard of from Gemini. Gemini doesn't, aside from Aviation 400, I haven't ever seen any other companies do spinner spirals and spinning fan blades on a 1:400 scale aircraft. So this is really a welcomed surprise from Gemini jets. And the fans, albeit they do spin rather stiffly, but the fact that they spin at all is nothing short of a miracle. And here's the one on the right side if you're curious. Very, very impressive detail from Gemini jets. I did not expect that. Bottom of the engines looks good. There's printed details down there. But yeah, I think the thing that gets me the most with the engines is that fan blade, the fan detail. It's quite impressive. Moving on to aerial details, this model features both antennas and communication domes. There are 3 antennas on the top of the aircraft, 2 large ones at the front, and a large one here near the rear section, and a small one at the very rear section of the fuselage. And there's also a small sat dome up here. At the bottom of the aircraft, there are no antennas, unfortunately, so it is lacking in antennas down here. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be any antennas down here, though. Now we're at the bottom of the aircraft, and here we can see the landing gear as well as just the bottom of the fuselage and the entire aircraft itself. The landing gear on this model are pretty nicely detailed. They look pretty good. They do pivot within a limited range, which is accurate. Looks good. The wheels roll rather stiffly, but they still roll, so that's very nice. The nose wheel does roll, which is good, and the nose gear looks pretty solid. Here's what it looks like. And here's what the main gear looks like from the side. Yeah, no complaints on the landing gear. Bottom of the aircraft looks good. Here you can see the giant Delta logo and the Gemini Jets logo. And yeah, paint application down here looks pretty consistent like the top of the aircraft. Here's the front of the aircraft, and oh my god, it looks just mean, especially with the raccoon mask in the cockpit windows. Front of the aircraft looks pretty good. Here we can see wing flex, gear balance, engine clearance, all that good stuff. Wing flex looks good. Cockpit window printing looks mostly symmetrical, might be bent a little bit towards the left side of the aircraft, but it still looks good. Gear balance looks good. Engine clearance looks good. And yeah, really no complaints. No real complaints from the front of the aircraft. Well, that's about all I've got for the review. Now time for my personal opinion and recommendation. This model is pretty damn impressive, especially considering it came from Gemini, because Gemini recently hasn't had very good quality control, let alone as much detail as this model. So probably because it was a corporate model, they definitely put a lot more effort into it. And I really haven't seen any other examples with quality control issues. However, there's always an odd one out, and unfortunately, it had to be me this time around. Surprise, surprise, there is 2 of them. So you might be wondering why I have 2 of them. Well, if you look at the one on the left, you can probably see something fishy about the right side of the fuselage. And I'm just going to show you just to make it a little bit easier to find. See it now? There is a particularly concerning large scratch on the right side of the fuselage. And aside from this model was pretty perfect. I was very happy with it until I noticed the scratch. And yeah, I guess I got an unlucky example. But quality control and everything else on this model was really good, so I guess I got an outlying case. I got very unlucky with that. However, the one that I just reviewed is in perfect condition, as I said earlier, so at least there's that. And I get to keep this messed up one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I get to keep it, so at least I have 2 of them in my collection now. Haha, you thought that I was done rumbling my ear-destroying voice at you. Jeez, I almost lost the narration there. There's also a bit of a paint issue with the messed up model down here, the blue paint going into the red paint. So yeah, quality control on this one wasn't perfect, as you can tell, but I think this one's just a rare case. Before I go too far off topic though, this model is incredibly detailed, it looks very nice, so I absolutely recommend it to any collector who wants one. And considering it's at a very good price on the Delta Team USA shop as well, that price is very good for a 1 to 400 scale model. And same deal with its 1 to 200 scale counterpart. There's a 1 to 200 scale version of this model at a ridiculously good price for a 1 to 200 scale model of this size, of a 1 to 200 scale size as well. So I recommend this model. Get it before it's gone, because scalpers on eBay have already been selling this thing for like $100+ US, which is really, really stupid. Yeah, moral values right out the window there. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I did go a little bit over time though, so apologies on that. That's all I've got for you today. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you thought of this video down below in the comment section, and stay tuned for more model airplane and siren content. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in my next video.